Hello, hello, and I am your host, KRM Now. And we are back with another episode of Call of the Wild, The Angler. In today's episode, well, instead of the last few, I fished around, gave the last few hints that I forgot to put in my intro tutorial video thing. I did the very basic tutorial. And I think it's time to show you where I do most of my fishing in this game. Because in Call of the Wild, The Hunter, almost all my spots came from just running around different water holes. This is pretty similar. Now, first off, we have probably the easiest one. There's a lot more fish here. This is the starting area. Very basic, very simple. And there's a lot of low-rank fish you can get with a bunch of the early lures and baits. Float fishing here with a small hook, really effective. Especially off on the sides where it's kind of shallow. Sink fishing over here, that's where I've caught most of my little sturgeons. But, considering after some point I care more about the money and the XP than I do just catching each individual fish until I get to high enough range to catch the big lake trout at the bottom of the ocean, or the lakes. I started liking hunting for northern pike and muskie. From this dock, you can cast pretty deep out into the water, and with that distance, you are actually able to catch pretty decent and pretty average muskie and pike. You just saw me reel one in from here. I just cast it at 120, I think, over there, let it sink to about the 40-foot marker, and I reeled it in, caught it with a level 3 crankbait. And also, whenever I go from these different spots, I'm going to show you what I typically use to pull things up. But here, I typically use crankbait to pull things out. You can also use a level 6 spinner, I believe, to get bronze and juvenile pike and muskie. But casting into the shallower ends gives you a lot different things. I'm going to cast one level 6 just to try and show you, but I'm gonna be honest, not really expecting to get anything on the first cast, It'd be cool to show you what else is out there in this water, but, I can't really show you everything. This game is a lot of luck in the end. It is fishing. You can never expect to catch every fish in a day. Which I bet actually, that would be a pretty fun, live stream to do. Try and catch every single fish species and a map in a day. It wouldn't be too hard, really. Just get, the bare minimum bronze to silver hook, and just go to where you think they might be and reel in a few times, see if you catch one. Which it looks like we are not going to be reeling anything in. But there are a lot of, if I remember right, there are bass in this area, I believe. Green sunfish too. I think both bass species can be found here. Actually, all three. I always forget the rock basses in this game. You can find bluegill here, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure about burbot. Maybe. I don't believe you can find the crappie here. I don't think. You can catch the channel cat at night. I know that. I don't know about the freshwater drum. I've never seen one. But that could just be me having bad luck here. They're definitely the pike and muskie. Yellow perch is here. I've caught a few of them here. Actually, pretty sure that's where I got this gold from. I don't know where the sauger is, honestly, I don't. You can catch the shovel-nosed sturgeon here, that's for sure. The green sunfish, definitely. I don't believe any of the trout are here. The walleye, maybe, because I think I've only caught one or two, and I don't know where. Mountain whitefish, I think you can catch here. And then there's this, which you can, I'm pretty sure, catch everywhere, but I have never caught them yet. Probably because it requires, dredging or deep float fishing. Pretty much dredging, though, at night. Which, unless I'm hunting for catfish, I don't really do that often. And then there's also the river carp sucker, which, I'll be honest, I'm surprised I have not caught one yet. I really am. It is a dredging fish, which, dredging, a bottom feeder, which I'll be honest, I don't do that much bottom fishing. I tried bottom fishing for catfish a while back, but, you know how that goes. But anyway, this is my pike and muskie. Ooh, over here, just going over across the pond, both out here in front of us, where I'm going to show you, and in this little pond over here, and I think also over here, but I could be mistaken. This area is really good for bass, smallmouth and largemouth, I believe. And the thing I normally use for them is this right here. I think I'm using a slightly smaller than I typically use hook size. But one of my friends just invited me to a party. Let's give it about let's give it about a minute, 30 seconds actually. I don't want to be sitting here all day trying to show you this, considering I might be using the wrong hook size. Which I'll go into my inventory and actually show you the hook sizes and stuff that I currently have. But this is the place I typically use for my smallmouth and largemouth bass. Considering I've seen a few YouTube videos on this one trying to find... Oh, big, there we go. And that is about the resistance I'd say a smallmouth is going to put up. I don't know. It's a crappie by the looks of it. It might be a rock bass. Rock bass. That's the thing. I forget to look at the back fin, so sometimes I'll confuse like the crappie with some of the bass. But you can find all the bass here. And it looks like I was rocking the right size. I got a silver. So either I'm rocking bronze to silver ratio or silver to diamond. Which, fun fact, if you're trying to get a diamond, just run with silver hooks. I mean, I'll be fully honest with you, it's technically more easy to catch a diamond with like a gold or diamond rated hook only, but it just makes the wait so much longer. I'd prefer to just keep reeling in like silvers until I get the occasional diamond or gold. Like, that's my personal preference, but right now, let's actually check my backpack. I got a few rods, which one of them, yeah, the feeder here, which I'm not sure if I can actually use anymore, because, yeah, all my line is stronger than that, so I'm going to need to get an upgraded feeder rod soon, if I want to keep that up. I got, all these rods for me were free, because I got the deluxe edition of this game while it was on discount, so I got a pretty nice deal. But then we also have the lines, all this stuff. And here are my hooks down here. Which these are normal hooks, and then, here we have the jig hooks. Which, I learned something. The jig sizes, which are small, medium, and large, which I'm using the large variant, they don't matter at all. They just equate to how quickly the jig sinks. Which, typically, to my knowledge, doesn't matter at all. Unless you're trying to catch something like higher up, but let's be honest, it's not really worth it. And these things you gotta actually keep an eye on. But yeah, besides that, nothing too crazy about this spot. It's for bass and stuff. You can also try fishing up here for bass. I've seen a lot of videos with people saying it's good reviews, great stuff. But whenever I went there, I was only catching green sunfish, so you know, how it is. There's apparently rainbow trout all up this river, all down this river, and that pond, and this pond, down this river, down that river to that pond, down into this river, down into here, and I'll just tell you now, my personal opinion, that's all baloney. There are fish in this entire area, but even using the basic silver hook, which is probably the easiest hook you can use for fishing if you want to just catch steady amounts of fish, did not give me good results in the slightest. It's kind of bad, actually. Here's a spot I used early on for channel catfish. It's actually one of the places, one of the early main missions. One of the early tutorial missions actually sends you out to. Fun fact, if you want to find a easy place to catch some fish, the tutorial missions and the Sophia's missions will actually send you to areas that will have those kinds of fish. So, yeah, pretty good. Also, depending on the time of which week it is, and I don't know what week it is, it should be either Big Larry or the Goldstein, I believe. Because it was Sidewinder this last week, but it changed, so it's now either Big Larry or Goldstein. Big Larry and not Big Larry, Goldstein and Sidewinder are in this lake. I believe Goldstein can be found up these rivers connected to it, but it's all along the rivers. And Sidewinder, if I remember right, can be found in like the middle of the lake here and here, which is pretty fun. And Big Larry, however, is over here. Why they put two legendary fish in the same pond, I don't know. Whenever there's so much more. Like, I don't know if there's anything up here. Apparently there's lake trout, but I never got a single bite using my jigging, which is because that thing's too deep for it to even hit the bottom. They could have put Sidewinder up there, make it a little different. I would have liked to have like a legendary, like, rainbow trout or something down here at the bottom. But, hey, that's just me. Then up here was a really good area for golden trout. There's really just a bunch of different trout, but I caught more golden trout there than other trout, so I labeled that as my spot. Also, the next spot I will be taking you to actually show off is this one over here. A very nice little spot, and if you want to know what it is, it's crappie, which I know that says white crappie, but you catch white crappie and black crappie at the same hook level, and I believe they're also... should be this way. Yeah, straight this way just about. And you catch white crappie, black crappie, same hook level. I believe there are also bass here. Apparently you can catch burbot too. I caught a diamond burbot here the day before last, and I was completely confused. I was actually sitting at this dock just casting deep because I was bored. I was scrolling through TikTok on my phone because I didn't want to like really play the game at the moment. So I was just occasionally casting out. And, oh boy, my friend really wants me to join that party. But he's gonna have to wait, I'm making this video. But anyway, you can actually see the dock over there. I was just standing there casting deep into the middle of the pond just about. And I got a hit, reeled it in, diamond burbot. So, yeah. Okay, this area, like the last one, is a jigging pond. Yippee. We can cast it just about anywhere, really, and we're gonna jig for a little bit. Let's do what we did for the last one, about 30 seconds to a minute. Chances are we're gonna catch something pretty quick. This is actually where I caught my diamond white crappie, and technically a diamond burbot. I now have 5 diamonds in total that I've caught, which this is the location of 2 of the diamonds. Yeah, this pond is really good, for me at least. It could be different for everyone else, but this is where I've had a lot of luck with fishing. A diamond crappie and a diamond burbot. I didn't even know I could catch a diamond burbot with a level, I think this is an 8 hook. So during my last time I caught a burbot was with a feeder rig, which is the drag fishing. The weighted one where it just sits at the bottom. And I had it set to a level 3 hook to try and catch catfish. I caught 0 catfish that day, and I ended up catching my first diamond, which was a diamond burbot, which was a total surprise. Now, I don't know the sizes of all these different fish, I'll tell you that much. There is there is this fun thing I found. It's like a hook wiki for this game. Pretty much just search up hook sizes for fish on Call of Wild the Angler on Google, and it'll take you to the page. It's really nice and well made. It shows all the maps, actually. even shows the legendaries. I wish it showed, like, where people said you could find them, or, like, the weights, the baits they like. Actually, it does show the baits and lures they like. It did show that. I remember that. I won't lie to you on that. But I don't believe it showed the weights or anything, or the locations, which it has a hyperlink for the locations, but it doesn't tell you where. So, hey, well, that's the website's problem, not mine. We've been here just going on a minute now. We aren't having any luck at the moment. Oh, lag spike. Is the video still running? Yes. I'll be honest, this game, great game, but I have it running on performance, quality, the one that makes the game look better. I have it running on that, right? It's very nice, very beautiful. But at the caveat that it sometimes, on very rare occasion, actually not even very rare, it's just occasionally, it like makes the game stutter for a second. Which is pretty cool. But the game looks nice. I like it. But anyway, this is where I catch my crappie and apparently burbot. Which you can see I have a nice gold black crappie. Me and my dad actually passed the controller back and forth the other night. We were playing this game. He loves fishing too. And I taught him how to fish. We started with the salmon, which is when I caught my second diamond salmon. I caught 2 diamonds that day, and I felt bad, considering he never went over, like, a handful of pounds, I don't believe. I even tried to take him to get a northern pike or a muskie before he got off so he could get, like, a big fish. I got one within seconds of casting so I could see if they were biting or not. He didn't get one. I felt so bad. But yeah, this place has good black crappie and good white crappie. Just good in general. Now, I'm taking you to my... Also, I'm pretty sure the crappie can be found all down this entire river down to here. And also, I think you can also find, most likely, them over here. Really just about all of the ponds, as long as you can see, like, this stuff. Like, the lilies, the reeds, all the little plants in the water. Chances are, if you see that, you can probably reel in a crappie. Like, for example, this right here, Tiger's End, fast travel point, the trailhead, is, yeah, right over here. The other side of this bridge is another crappie spot. It was an area with a mission location where you had to catch a, I believe, a bronze crappie. You can see from here, you can see the grass floating at the top of the river. Yeah, this would be Riverine. So, yeah. So I do love how the majority of this game takes place in a riverine system. Which, if you don't know, there are multiple different systems for wetlands and the like. Which, Riverine is one of the most common. There's, I think it's called dentile, which is basically just a dent in the ground. Like, most of these probably are dentile. The ones at the top of these mountains, maybe dentile, I don't know. And then there's, like, riverine, which are fed by rivers. So a river, obviously going to be riverine. Riverine, I don't know how you pronounce any of these words. But anyway, time to show you guys my personal favorite spots. And no, I'm not going to be driving up here to show you the golden trout. I mean, you can see the way to get there. It's right here. But we're going to go here. Right? And this one is by far my favorite, and I've caught most of my diamonds here, considering I've caught 5, I've caught 2 of them here, which means... Actually, I can't even say this is my most diamonds anymore, because I caught 2 diamonds in that last lake we were at. Oof. The game's trying to make a liar out of me. Can you believe that? But yeah, I'm not going to be showing you fishing spots for every single fish. I'm just showing you the ones that I know the best, and that I have experienced good luck in, right? So if you don't have good luck in these areas, I'm sorry, I am. But from what I understand, this game is a lot more complex than Call of the Wild the Hunter. So in the Hunter, you've seen my videos there. We can effectively just circle between 3 different places and the deer will always be there. This game, well, they technically are always in the same place. We can never guarantee that they will be. Okay, we got this selected. Oh, we already have the level 6 selected. And this, oh wait, am I too close to that? Okay, there we go. But anyway, this area is good for kokanee salmon, or if it's pronounced differently, I apologize for mispronouncing it. But despite it being really good for kokanee salmon, it also has trout. Primarily, right page, it has some brook trout. I've not caught a really big brook trout here yet. I've only caught like 2 or 3 here, if I remember right. They do have a good few cutthroat trout, which also, at the golden trout spot that I pointed out earlier, there are also a good number of cutthroats, but I'm going to show you a better spot that I've found for cutthroats. There are some golden trouts here, but not as much as the golden trout spot. There are no lake trout here. None. At least not that I found. I'd be scared if I pulled one of these out of here. To be fair, I haven't used level 1 hook, though, which is like the silver minimum for the lake trout. Which I love fishing for the lake trout. They're so fun. They put up such a fight because they're so heavy. There are a lot of orange trout here. They are good. And there's a bunch of rainbow trout here. I'll be honest, I've gotten a lot of trolls out here because I don't know if this game relies on best weight or best length to decide whether it's a diamond or not. In Call of the Wild, it's typically a sum of points based on its weight, its antler spread, or trophy spread or size. Like, it's related to a bunch of different things. This game, I don't know that. And typically, from what I see, bigger fish means diamond or higher rank. Which is definitely true, because I've caught some really fat trout, and they're pretty nice. And I think I've caught a walleye here. I think. No, I caught a mountain whitefish here before. I don't know if that was a fluke, because I think I've only caught one of them. But I have caught one here. But typically this place is good for cutthroat, all the different trout, except for lake trout, and the main bread and butter of this spot, in my opinion, the salmon, which chances are, just considering how well this spot works, I bet you we're going to be hitting a target species right there. Typically, I have my best luck between 60 and 30 feet. Just look right there, little salmon. Pretty nice salmon, nice little silver. Which you can come here with level 6, and salmon are, if you couldn't tell, pretty small. If I'm remembering right, you can get level 6 spinners fairly early on. And I used my level 6 spinner to catch all of these. I've tried to use level 3 to catch trout, but I've for some reason had better luck catching silvers and gold with level 6 spinners and stuff, so I don't know. I really don't. And this is one of my favorite spots. You can just effectively see. I'm going to do it again because we still have plenty of time. We're only at the 24-minute mark. Watch this. I'm going to cast again, and I'm betting. Yeah, I'm wrong. I will get out of the boat, climb ashore, get onto the bridge, and jump into the water if I do not reel something in this time. I'm betting we're going to be hitting around, last time was 70, I'd say about the 60-foot mark. Come on. I was off on the 60. Come on, at least reel it in. At least get a fish. Game. No, don't make me jump into the water. No. Come on, at least something strike. There better not be a fish following it. I'm no liar, so up on shore we go. I do not... Okay, gonna have to do this the hard way then. Can't jump onto that, so I'm gonna have to jump. Looks like it's about deep enough. See? I told you I was gonna do it. But yeah. Also, fun fact, if you ever get stuck ashore, typically jumping into the water will send you back to the nearest either trailhead or dock, which is really useful. And this spot is really good because it's also next to one of my other favorite fishing spots. This one, I've almost exclusively caught rainbow trout in this area, which... This is the area that makes me think rainbow trout specifically are bugged or something, because silver minimum is a level 4 to 3 hook for rainbow trout. That's typically what I use to like catch my golds and diamonds and up, because silver gives you a good chance to get everything, right? However, here, I have set level 3 hooks in the water, level 3 lures. I've done just about every little thing you can do with a level 3 hook. And I think I've gotten a total of 6 bites on level 3 hooks, and I fished here a good number of times. See, look at that. We put a level 6 hook in the water, and we got... That's a lot of resistance. What are you? Cutthroat? No, bronze rainbow trout. That was an odd amount of resistance. Is it because we're standing on like a weird ledge? But yeah, apparently level 3 is supposed to be the bread and butter hook size for this. Oops. Sorry, Sophia. Didn't mean to jump into the water. But yeah. I get a bunch of them here. I'm betting they're really just all down this entire river, and I'm not gonna go over here just because it would be time consuming, and we are halfway through the video just about. Well, halfway through my video recording capability, I should say. These are some of the other areas that I know. I really like this area over here, because it has a bunch of cutthroat trout, and it has mountain whitefish if you lower the hook size a little, which is... I love it. Because I hadn't found much hope in catching mountain whitefish or cutthroat trout. I didn't really know where they were. But you have to go here for one of the missions. And I think it's actually to catch a mountain whitefish. And it was so nice. Also, cutthroat trout. Mwah. There's also, obviously, as it says, rainbow trout, golden... There were a few golden trout whenever I fished here. But cutthroat trout out the wazoo. I'll be honest. The only thing I wish is, like, that you could fast travel to these little fishing areas. I really wish you could, but you can't. That's, like, my biggest pet peeve about this game. Like, some of the icons... Like, I can fast travel here. Right? To the vistas, the points of interest you can travel to, which I actually learned that, I believe, in the last video of this game I made, which, fun. Also, this is a beautiful vista, by the way. You come here for one of the missions, and, oh, it's lovely. It's actually such a nice view. But you can catch trout up here, which I think here I caught a golden trout, or it might have been I think it was a golden. It's been a few missions. I don't think I've been fishing here, really, but there are definitely fish in there. Same with over here with a rainbow trout. I've caught a few good ones over here. And now, we're down to the last 2 major spots that I actually care to use, like, relatively regularly. I'll show you guys the easier one first, okay? I'm not going to take you to my favorite personal spot, which... I think you might already know, considering where I was looking a few seconds ago. But let's go to the dam, okay? This is probably one of my top 3 spots. It looks good. I get a lot of fish here, and it has a large variety of fish. And plus, I'm pretty sure this is also one of the places you can catch Big Larry. Which I know for a fact you can catch Big Larry right here. I don't know where exactly Big Larry spawns all over the lake, I just know that's one of them. So if I understand right, either you can be caught, the legendaries can be caught at any of their locations on their cycle week, or each cycle week they switch through a different area, or they switch every day or so. I don't know. I don't. But here is one of my personal favorite spots. You can catch northern pike, tiger muskie. You can also catch, let me just set the label, it is the drum, freshwater drum here. And you can even catch channel cat. Which is, oh, I passed it. Which, this means this is probably one of my most beneficial areas. Though for channel cat, you have to use the feeder rod, the bottom. For this one, let's just go for a basic level 3 jerkbait, you know. Just a simple pike or muskie. We'll let us sink enough we might risk getting a drum on there, which would still be a cool catch. But here I recommend getting like the base line strength of a silver freshwater drum to gold, so 20 line strength, because whenever I first started fishing over here, I was so stunned. Like, I was fishing for some pretty basic stuff. I think I was going for catfish whenever I first showed up, and I learned there were pike and muskie because I accidentally was out in the middle and I was just bored and cast out a frog lure, and they struck it. Oh no, that came in really fast. I only casted like 40 feet. But yeah, I casted like a basic frog lure, reeled it in, and I was just pulling the muskies and the pike out of the water. It was so fun. Excuse me. But it was great. That was out in the deep part of the water. There's also a one of the little missions where you have to collect data from big old buoys out in the middle of big lakes. Typically, if there's a big dark spot in the middle of a body of water, you can probably find a buoy. But will we get lucky and get a strike? We will. And this is a good bit of resistance. So this is either a big pike or muskie, or it could be a drum. It's a little high for a drum, so yeah, we're getting a size looks like a muskie. Yep, nice silver muskie. Now with a level 3, we should be able to catch silver, golds, and... Did the game just give me braided line? It did. Gave me level 33 braided line. Ooh. I'll take that. Because braided line is actually really good. I also learned the main difference between fluorocarbon and braided line. Okay? It's that braided line actually goes a little further than fluorocarbon does. The abrasion resistance, from what I understand, means it's a little harder to pull back and resist the fish's pull. I think that's what it means. So high abrasion resistance is better than low. And visibility I don't think affects anything. But it has much higher strength. The final tiers of braided line have so much higher strength than the final levels of fluorocarbon. And they have a pretty thin diameter, which is probably why the abrasion resistance is so low, which is weird. But they have significantly more distance that can be put between you and the fish, which is why I've learned a lot of people actually choose to use the Actually, you know what? For this, let's actually switch out with that. Because why not? Let's, it's not like we're going to be fishing here again, but that's pretty cool. We got to level up to 30, a big milestone on my character here. But yeah, you can catch a lot of fish here. This is also where I caught my first. My goodness, it's giving me a lot of stuff I don't need. Do I have any spare spots anymore? Do I? I do. I have, what is that, a 6-piece? Yeah, I had so much. But to be fair, it did give me a good little chunk of stuff, and some stuff I can actually use for fish I actually are going after. This is pretty cool. Yeah. I will need to get a new feeder rod. Because this is the one that's the dragger. Because this is the one I believe I'm using for the lure fishing. This is the one I believe I'm using for the jigging, and this is my float. Which you can use them all for the same things. But yeah, I'm going to need to get an upgrade for him. But yeah, this place has a lot of good fish. You can also get a bunch of them out here in the middle, which are also really nice to get. And I'm betting, I wouldn't actually know, but considering before I was catching primarily silver, pike, and muskie out here using a level 6 frog, I'm assuming using a level 3 jerkbait, which is their preferred kind of lure. As you can see, jerkbait number 1, jerkbait number 1. I'd say probably going into the middle of the lake with that would be how you catch like the golds and diamonds. That would be my personal bet. I haven't tested it out because actually, now that I think about it, I have not been to the middle of this lake since like my first few times going out there. Just because it's like, I mean, to be fair, it wouldn't be that hard to go from there to there, but until I found those, I had to drive here before I figured out I could fast travel to points of interest, or sail there from here, which was just kind of a drag. Well, anyway, we are to the 37-minute marker. We spent a good little bit of time there. And it is time to hit my personal favorite spot. Just because it has my personal favorite fish to fish. And it's only because of how hard of a fish it is to catch. Actually, I'm going to go back in, change this to him, so we can go to our jig, switch it to the braided, set it to a level 1 hook with the worm. So we should be able to fight these fish a little bit more, because I haven't actually tested how good the... I don't think I've used braided line on the lake trout yet. I don't think I have. So we're about to see. This is going to be a first-time experience for us. Ooh, I gave it away by accident, didn't I? Yeah, we're hunting for lake trout here. Which are really fun fish, but sadly, if you want to get right into this game, go right after the lake trout using this video, don't. Lake trout are really big, and they're really hard fights, even for me. I'm level 30, I got some pretty decent stuff. Okay, this should be good. This should be good, right? Yeah. So we're just gonna stand up off our boat. We're gonna use our jig with a level 1 hook and a worm. Just gonna cast it out. Gonna jig it. And once it hits the bottom, we should be sitting here for like a minute tops before we get our first strike. Because that's the thing with lake trout in this game. They are hungry. And they get it. Right? So we're going to be sitting here for a little bit. Chances are we're going to be hitting a silver or gold. I don't think I've gotten a gold lake trout yet. Oh, we have gotten a golden lake trout. That's cool. That's cool. And for the most part, lake trout is one of my favorite ones just because it's so much easier than like other lure fishing. Jigging, really, in general, is just the easiest form of fishing. I mean, you could use feeder, but you also risk it running into things or running around a corner, because one of the most frustrating things in this game is hooking a big fish. There are salmon here? I mean, yeah, I guess it is connected to our big salmon spot, so I guess salmon being here shouldn't be that surprising. But, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. Yeah, basically, you could... One of my least favorite things in this game is hooking a nice, big fish. You know it's big. You have a bunch of resistance on it. Let's pump the resistance up a little more. Yeah, we're reeling them in. Good. They're helping. And yes, this is a lake trout. I'm assuming it's not that big of one. To be fair, we did just up the line strength, so it could be fairly big. I don't know. He's still fighting a good little chunk. But, anyway. If it gets around, like, the corner of a dock or something... Oh, we're about to see him fight? I have the line strength to just say no. Beautiful. You know, let's fight back. Bada bing. But, yeah. Yeah, we're getting him up here. You see him yet? There he is. A beauty. Yep, come here. Thank you. Very nice one. I'd say probably a big silver or gold. Yep, nice silver. Nice silver. And this will be the end of this little video. I'm going to finish saying what I was saying, of course. But say we were down here fishing at this dock, right? We cast a float here, and it floats over here to our right. You know what? I can just demonstrate this at an actual dock. I don't have to use the map. Also, this area over here is... I've caught some trout here. It's actually where I first tried farming for trout. I caught some brook trout here, which are pretty cool, but... Oh, you can also catch lake trout out in the middle of this pond here. But besides that, I don't really have that much luck with anything here. So, anyway, say we cast a float right there. And the current takes it around us over to there. Now we reel it in, it's pulling that line here. Now that fish gets here, he hooks under that, and he gets the hook out and the line snaps. It's just an instant lose. Some fish are really annoying, because if you're like fishing behind a pole, that's why if I'm on a deck, I always jump up onto the... I always jump up onto this little corner piece here. Just because it makes the risk of it going to your sides a little less dangerous. So if I was standing right here and the fish swam over here, I lose it. If I was standing here and it goes over there, I lose it. Now if I'm standing here, the fish would have to go all the way around over there. Which is still a possibility, though it is slightly decreased, luckily. You can probably catch some bass here. There's probably some crappie too with that spot right there. And you can hear the trout jumping, like that one right there. Now that could have been a bass, I suppose. Well, that's personally my least favorite thing about this game. Like, I feel like in those kind of situations, the game should allow you to walk a little bit while you have your line out, just to prevent that kind of a thing. Because it's so annoying whenever you get like a nice big fish. Like the other day, I caught a level 3 hook trout. And it had so much resistance. I knew it was going to be a high gold or a diamond. It was putting up that much resistance. And snap. So disappointing. And then feeder it's not nearly as bad, but it's just eventually you're going to run out of the bait you're using and you're going to have to go back and buy more. That's why I personally prefer the lures and the jigs, just because you don't have to constantly keep buying more and more bait. Because I personally think buying bait in this game, it's cheap. The bait is cheap, and it's relatively, actually, really, especially early on, whenever you don't have much money or access to that many hooks and different lures. Float and feed fishing, the drag and the floating, it's gonna be like pretty much your primary thing. Like, I didn't like it that much because I hate losing the stuff I'm using to fish. Like, if I'm in a game and it's making me spend money to make money, I don't like it. I know most fish give you the money to buy a new stack of feed, but I didn't care about that. I did not care because I was losing stuff. The lures and the jigs, you don't lose. Which, if this game was a little more realistic, you probably would lose that on a snapped line, but I don't really care that the game's not that realistic. It's fun. I like it. But anyway, that's kind of why I prefer jig and lure over that. I get to keep my special hook and stuff, yada yada yada. I don't waste stuff. Well, anyway, just a quick end of the video recap here. We have pike, muskie, and a bunch of other stuff for early game float and feed. This is bass. There are catfish up there. Crappie and bass over here. Crappie and probably bass too over here. Just a general key of mind. Anywhere you find crappie, you're probably going to find bass. Probably crappie and bass over here. Probably catfish too. Then we have catfish, drum, pike, and muskie. We have trout and salmon. Trout and salmon, which I primarily use this as rainbow trout. There was the gold trout up here. Almost forgot about that. Never showed it to you. We got the cutthroat, the mountain whitefish, more cutthroat, and also gold trout. Rainbow trout, and finally, we have our lake trout. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day. And I hope this video can possibly help any of you guys fishing. Because, I'll be honest, these fish are very general. Like, bass you can get really early game because they're hook size 9 and 8 for silvers. So, I think 8 is the silver size. Which means almost right off the bat, you can start catching gold and diamond bass and crappie from here and over there. Then you move up to hook size 6, which will get you the salmon and some trout. Then you move up to hook size 3, which should give you better trout, and then pike and muskie, along with drum and stuff, especially once you get a higher hook strength. And then get you down to level 1, a good hook line, and you can start going for the lake trout. This is kind of what I've used in general for my rapid level growth. I've only been in this game for like 2-3 weeks because I got this game the week before Christmas. And I'm already level 30. I've rapidly risen. And I play this game a lot, right? But I don't play it constantly. So if someone really wanted to, they could probably get the game right now, use what I've shown, because I've had a lot of trial and error in this game. Like, these areas I've found are based on different areas I found on different YouTube videos through the missions. They're just randomly standing around. Like, Like, for an example, this place over here. I found it for a video that was for some other kind of fish. And they were fishing here for the largemouth. And they were fishing here for something else, I don't remember. But I found I had much more luck with the bass over here. This place I got from a mission right there, right out. There were a lot of pike and, I mean not pike, a lot of crappie here. I found that in a video. I learned that there's a ton of drum, pike, and muskie over here, along with burbot. Almost forgot to mention that. I'll go ahead and add the marker now. Burbot. Yeah. There's a lot of burbot, muskies, pike, drum, and catfish at night. Those are all in this little area. And I learned this one, though I now know that there are a lot of videos kind of glazing this spot, just because, kind of rightfully so, this is so many big and nice, good species of fish to catch, right in such an easy to access area. It's so nice. But yeah, I found this area on my own because I came over here because I heard that you could catch catfish here. Tried catching catfish, caught a bunch of pike and muskie, caught burbot, drum. I haven't actually caught that many catfish there, though I know you can. And then you have the salmon, which I actually found this on an area to catch a rainbow trout, believe it or not. Which I later learned. This area is a much easier access to rainbow trout than the other trouts, all along this river. This area I just found a video on lake trout. They nailed it. Nail right in the head. Perfect. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Have a great day, and I hope this video helps. See ya.